Hello and welcome, this is Jensen Vars here. In this video I'm gonna start a new game based on the RPG called The Veil. It's a pretty weird transhumanistic cyberpunk setting where it's a powered by the apocalypse rule based. We've got some sort here of a weird near future or maybe longer term future of transhumanism where the world has gone and adopted a neurochips. As soon as we are born, we get these chips that make everything a hybrid reality. So there's never full reality. We're always connected in the net. Everything is half digital, half real, and sometimes to the point where it's mostly digital over reality, giving some kind of vibes of the Matrix. And anytime we can get digital, we can get really digital, like we can get into cyberspace. And the world has gone kind of into this post-apocalyptic cyberpunk approach where things just function. We are all enforced just to be more in this hybrid reality mode. And that's all I know actually. The game leaves a lot of room open to explore two things. One of them is like the cultural aspects of the world you're in and gives some prompts around that, and then also the impact of technology in day-to-day life. So from there it's all around the characters and their playbooks. I made two characters. I don't know much about the game and the world building we're gonna do together today because this is session 0. I've got Aitana, she's the honor bound. The honor bound is the primary drive for the honor bound is your dedication to enforcing others to hold up their obligation. In the Veil, this form of honor is ingrained into the society in which you play, and you are the keeper of it. So I'm picturing some sort of, she's she's a girl and she's driven by her principles. She has a strong ties into spiritual life and the meaning of the word, so she takes all of this very, very seriously. I made this picture with AI where she's like meditating, and that's an important aspect of what I'm picturing about her. I don't know much more other than what the playbook tells me, which is like her principles are driven by this fact of obligation. She's like she's driven by this like promises and over promises and debts from one to another kind of person. And what we see here is you are the enforcer for the institute or organization that upholds obligation. When someone needs debt owed to them taken care of, it is you this task falls to. That means she is also part of a larger faction that handles this kind of favor. So I'm not sure how shady is this gonna be, or if it's gonna be like a good oriented faction. We'll figure out that in a moment. What we know is that wherever she is, it's a safe place where people find sanctuary. The Veil cannot penetrate there, so I'm feeling that she's part of... I pictured a bunker where she's like disconnected from the Veil in that regard. So that's purely real. That makes it quite crappy probably, because the Veil tries to sell us a lot of this marketing and perfect kind of life in the cybernetic world. And this is real, and that's what she focuses on. I guess she's aware of the hybrid world, of course, but she stays in this place, and I call this place, I made a map also, it's called the UDEA, so this is just a name, I don't know much about it, and I took also a picture of this headquarters. I guess this is where she stays, so there's like a larger organization behind it. But yeah, this is like her escape place, or maybe where she lives. We don't know, but let's assume we're gonna be starting over there. Maybe I'm gonna think about it more, because this place should be of a sanctuary and safety, and this image doesn't really represent what I had in mind, but we could take it as like some sort of operating headquarters where she works from. All characters have a jam, like the way they go by in life. Of course, her jam is enforcing obligation, so she works and goes by in her life by this favor. So I guess she's like a mercenary or something like this. but driven by principle and word, but also tied to this overarching organization. Word to her means if somebody saves your life, if you make a mistake that harms another, then that's you, that you owe an obligation to someone else, or when you tell someone an important truth, because being honest in such a world is unusual. The penalties of breaking your word can be related to forced labor, imprisonment, and penance involving sacrifice. This is a bit how this PbtA organization works. And she's there because the owner rectified a situation where I was wronged or my family once were. So she owes something, and this is how she got here. She's got a sword, that's for sure, a flechette, submachine gun, some cybernetics. She's got a cybernetic arm, which is articulate, and it's twitchy and scarred, so it's not the perfect thing to be carrying over as your arm. Moves, she's got honor. Let me open this to be able to zoom in a little bit. So honor is one of her moves. When you feel reluctant to enforce or penalize someone who has not honored their obligation, then you can do something like, I guess it's a kind of forgiveness. And bound, whenever you begin a session without a task involving the enforcement of obligation that's been broken, choose one of the following. So I guess she's always got to be bound to a mission or something that's gonna give or make her driven. Very interesting kind of playbooks. I think these characters here are like very, very meaningful. There's a bunch of other playbooks in the game. All of them were really very curious. But yes, then she's got the art of pursuit. Assimilate all the information you have available on a target roll. So I guess she's able also to be quite an investigator. That's Aitana. We're gonna figure out some more a bit later. The other character we have is the Onomastics playbook. He's called Kaldar. You are the last of your kind. Your order was once an integral part of the Veil and the world. Now, though the time has passed, hunted and destroyed by the Iconoclasts, you are now the last of your order, the last with the power of true names, and charged with the protector of the last cyber tome. So this is obviously a reference to these books where the character can know the true name of beasts and that way invoke or have a power over their soul. It's a cool trope. Makes it in that one in this world, makes this world quite also mystic. So there's not only just reality and pure cyberpunk, we have here some tropes of mysticism. And he's got a cyber tome, which is what I put in this profile picture, which holds the secrets of the Iconoclasts. The contents could destroy them, so this is a faction following them. We've got to explore more about these two factions, right? So I'm gonna add here factions note, where we should add at least these two factions we mentioned so far. On one side, the PbtA, the obligations faction, and then we also will have these Iconoclasts, hunters of Onomastic. So I guess these are the two factions we're gonna deep dive a little bit before we start playing. What else? This guy's jam is quite open. It's not defined by the playbook, but I guess this guy is going on by through life. I guess working, because since they know each other, he's probably gonna be a friend of Aitana, and he helps her with her missions and gets a pay. So they're both like paid runners. But in the background, he's been followed, right, or hunted by this faction. So he's gonna have a troubled times getting by. I'm not sure if these hunters are gonna hunt him through the cyber world or on the real world, but we've got some prompts here from the playbook. So he's also got a sanctuary, an unknown and mysterious labyrinth with interconnected tunnels. So he's got a place where the order fell, so the order he belonged to, it had a safe hold, so it's something else, it's something more mysterious. He might not be going there often, but it exists, and there's what's making that special, that place, is that the communication device is not connected to the Veil, so there's a way to communicate outside of the mega network structure in this world, which is the Veil. Yes, and what it plays, like this play also has phantoms and ghosts of your extinct order. That makes it quite the weird thing. The iconoclasts, they are angels on demons in representation. They have no expression and they make inhuman sound. This is what I picked up from like what's the feature of these iconoclasts that makes them quite monstrous demons around this world that hunt him. Let me close this. So moves, he's got a true name, which is what I mentioned before. He can invoke someone's, like a mysterious power of his dead order. Speaking the true name gives him quite power over others, like being able to make them harm, have them lose track of what they were doing, like distract them and hinder them and so on. So then he can also gaze into the abyss, which is like he can look beyond of what the reality is showing. He's got a cyber eye and an enhanced nerve system inside, so he's quite a cyber improved guy. That's all we know. I'm gonna be using Prompty Questions, my latest release on Prompt, Game Unfolding Machine, and probably Plot Unfolding Machine's Oracle, because I find it fun that there's this caveats column. It gives me quite many good prompts on yes or no questions. With that said, I'm gonna wrap up this session 0 characters introduction and continue session 0 with a little bit of world building. We're gonna see together the environment. So the game gives me an environment sheet we can fill in and some prompts of things we need to define before we start playing. Thank you, and let's stay tuned.